Okay, welcome to the What's New in Revit 2020 webinar. I want to take just a few moments to introduce myself and Microdesk before we get started. So Microdesk provides business and technology consulting services to help firms successfully plan, design, build, and operate land and buildings. We're an AECO industry consulting firm that's been around for 25 years. We have 11 locations nationwide from coast to coast and one office in the UK. We have over 200 AECO consultants and solution specialists and software developers. Microdesk maintains deep working relationships with the industry-leading manufacturers of BIM, CAD, GIS, and facility management softwares. As a result, we provide access to most comprehensive set of solutions to support the entire project delivery process. We are an Autodesk and Bluebeam Platinum partner. Our other industry-leading partners include IBM, Microsoft, and Penzura. In addition to training classes, we provide full services consulting that include building information modeling services, enterprise strategy and workflow assessment, technology management, mentoring and support, and application development. Just a reminder that if you have any questions or you would like to learn more about some of our other training, consulting, or software solutions, check out our website or give us a call or an email. You can also find us on a variety of social channels. This is our contact information. I'll start by giving a little background on myself. I am a technology consultant with expert knowledge in assisting organizations with implementing building information modeling technologies and processes into their design workflows. I also work closely with Microdesk sales team to ensure that we are delivering the most beneficial and effective implementation solutions to our clients. This involves providing technical support, training, product evaluations, recommendations, on-site services, and standard development. I have experience in many of today's leading BIM technologies, including Revit, AutoCAD, BIM 360, and Navisworks. My name is Mohamad El-Abdallah, and I have a bachelor's degree of architecture. Here is a general overview of all the different functionalities of Revit 2020 that we are going to be covering today. We're going to talk about some of them. We're going to demonstrate some other. You'll have the opportunity to submit questions by tapping into the questions section of the control panel. And we're going to go over all the question and answers in the end. So the first functionality that we're going to be talking about is having or importing, inserting PDFs into Revit. Revit 2020 started to support native PDF functionality. You can bring in a PDF as an underlay and display it. Same capabilities of exporting PDFs through desktop connector. Also, it enables snapping to PDF lines, so it's easier to model in Revit. All the raster image functionalities that you have in Revit in previous versions are available for PDF from scaling, rotate, move, mirror, copy, and send back or front. I'm going to be shifting to Revit to demonstrate that. I have the sample project that Autodesk provides. If I open, say, level 1, let's create a new floor plan. From level 1 also. And let's insert PDF. The dialog box is on my other screen. Let me drag it here. If I go to desktop. And I have a PDF that I've previously exported from Revit. If I click on open, it's going to ask me to define the resolution that I want to insert the PDF from in. I can change the resolution. Let's say I want 300 dpi. And this is the size of the PDF that's already exported from Revit. If I click OK now, it's going to ask me where do I want to place it. Let's say I want to place it outside of the building, although it's going to show the same plan layout because I've exported this exact plan layout. Click here, it's going to display it. Now, if you notice, I cannot see the PDF because of the setting here. The draw layer is to the background. If I change this to foreground, it can be displayed. Now I can go ahead and drag this to make it bigger or smaller, or I can change the dimension from the properties panel here. I can also send to front or to back, or send backwards or forward. We can change the width and the height and the scale from here. We can, the main advantage of this is if we enable snapping. So I'm going to go ahead and try to draw a wall here. And you can notice that it's not snapping it to anything in the PDF. But if I remove this command, select the PDF, and enable snapping, now if I want to draw a wall, everything is snapping to my PDF. I can go ahead and select my pick lines and select exterior. And I can draw my walls. Now, my walls won't be showing because my PDF is to the foreground. If I select my PDF and set it to background, I'm going to see my walls. Let's put it back to foreground. And if I select it, there is the Manage Images here. And you can treat the PDF as an image. All the images in my model appear here, also the PDFs with the path. Go back to my presentation. So another functionality is to publish cloud models on Revit Home. Revit Home is becoming the center place to connect with BIM 360 with more and more increasingly integrated experience with BIM 360, access projects, and publish models through the Revit Home. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Revit Home. You can go to Revit Home either by closing all the projects you have open or by clicking on this icon on the top. This is my Revit Home. And previously, if we wanted to access BIM 360 projects, we had to go through the open command. And we had the BIM 360 logo or icon right here. Now, you can notice in 2020 it disappeared because Autodesk wants us to access all the projects from here. Now, let's say I want to go to one of my projects. If you click here, you're going to see all the different hubs that you are part of. I'm going to go to our Microdesk internal test account and open one of the projects. And you can notice the path here is under the BIM 360 project files architecture. And this is one of the models that I've already collaborated in the cloud in BIM 360 docs. What I can do from here is either I click on the model and it's going to open it, or I click here and we have different commands. One of them is publish to latest. If I click publish to latest, this is going to allow me to publish the latest model to BIM 360 docs. I'm not going to press it right now because it's going to take a bit of time. Another type or another command would be opening. So if I click here, it's going to open the model for me. And this model resides in BIM 360 document management. Now, another functionality that was added to Revit 2020 is cloud models. A cloud model for Revit is an entitlement that you have as part of your subscription. It allows you to store and access work shared and non-work shared models in BIM 360 document management. It provides access to a copy of the model to team members that are not using collaboration, or if they're using collaboration, they already have access to it because it's posted in BIM 360 document management. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close all the models that I have open. I'm going to open a local model that I have on my computer, which is a sample project file that comes with Revit out of the box. And let's say I've done some work on this model. I want to share this model through BIM 360 Docs and use Docs as a document management platform. All I have to do is click on File, go to Save As, and click on Cloud Model. Now, I am saving this local model into BIM 360 Docs, which is the cloud. It's going to take a bit of time to open the path. You can notice that it's the same path that I accessed my previous model from. Those are the hubs that are available for me to post models on. And if I go to the path that I want, the folder that I want, let's say I want to post it under electrical, and all I have to do is click save here, and my model will be saved in the cloud. Now, remember, this is not a collaborative model. This model have not been collaborated in the cloud. You cannot have a team collaborating on this model. It's just a copy of the model that you can share with all different stakeholders. Revit 2020 has an update for supporting SketchUp 2018 and the ability to bring in colors with it. So Revit 2020 has an enhanced material import for SketchUp. You still have the same workflow. All you have to do is go to Revit and wait for this to end. And you can see it from my PowerPoint presentation. All you have to do is go to the Insert tab, click on Link CAD or Import CAD. It depends if you want to keep the link with the SketchUp model or not, and import it. Another extension or functionality is the new export function data function in the Revit Fabrication add-in. So basically, you can export all the fabrication data from the Revit extension for fabrication, all the information that you need for fabrication ductwork. And okay, let's go back a bit. So what I was referencing for SketchUp is that you can go to the Insert tab and click on Link CAD and change the file type here to SketchUp and link a SketchUp file. Now I don't have a SketchUp file ready, but this is the same workflow that was previously. All what Autodesk did is they enhanced the material and colors with it. And in addition to Revit 2020 is elliptical walls. Previously, what we had to do is model it using different circles, and we didn't have the ability to model an ellipse. We also have now the ability to model an ellipse and change between types. So let's go to Revit, level 1. Say I want to add an elliptical wall. All I have to do is click on the wall command, and you can notice here I have ellipse, and first click and second click to define the radius, and I have an elliptical wall. Now let's see this in 3D. This is my wall. You can set the base constraint and the top constraint as if it is a Revit wall. And what you can do is change the type, and it's automatically going to change it. You can set it to curtain wall, and it has all the wall functionalities of Revit. Now, there is an enhancement for rebar detailers. Rebar objects are more intelligent when being moved and or copied. Shape-driven rebars now snap more intuitively to the concrete cover when copied or moved. Previously, a rebar would snap to the cover if it was within half diameter from the cover. Now, rebar geometry remains consistent and rebar geometry is automatically created. Another addition would be the multiple rebar annotations. You can now add multiple rebar annotations and be used to dimension the position of rebar sets with respect to the concrete host faces. You can now more efficiently and accurately produce documentation for concrete projects by referencing concrete element faces along with the rebar. You can notice here in the drawing, we have the multiple rebar dimension from the face of the concrete. Another functionality of the rebar annotations is that it can be used to dimension freeform rebar sets with planar and parallel bars. It can also be used to dimension rebar elements which are inclined to view. Another rebar functionality is that we can add rebar to model in place stairs. Either it's shape-driven or freeform rebars. Both of them can be added to model in place stairs. Now, this is a handy tool for structural engineers. The steel connections propagations command allows Revit to take a connection that you're modeling and get it automatically applied to all identical intersections of steel members in your projects. You can easily modify the connection by type selector. So basically, we can be modeling one connection, and all you have to do is select the connection, right-click, and go to propagate a connection, and it's going to propagate it to all identical connections in your project. Also, this taps to the previous command. Revit 2020 has a new type editor with a preview. You can notice here, it gives you a preview of the type that you're modeling. You can easily configure different types of connections and use them on different projects. So you can group your connection and export it and use it on different projects and in the same project. There is a new feature that includes radial and diameter dimension of circular openings, as you can see here, and dimension for holes and shear studs up there. And now it allows you to weld tags in any view. So basically, if you have an elevation or a 3D or a plan view, you can tag. Now, a small enhancement actually for electrical engineers, where the user-defined Homerun arrow style is enhanced, the multi-circuit Homerun arrow control is enhanced, and the additional option for wiring tick marks. Also, there is an enhancement for electrical panels, and it works very well with modifying existing panel schedules. Now, a huge addition actually for architects, the enhancements for architects that allows you to identify the distance between 2 points, which is the path of travel. It creates this new path element that is smart to understand obstacles in your Revit model. The path can be scheduled and tagged, it's view specific, and the line type can be changed. I'm going to be shifting to Revit to demonstrate this. Now let's say to level 1, get rid of this. And the path of travel command is under the Analyze tab. It's here. I click on path of travel. It's going to ask me to draw my path. Let's say I want to go from here right to the kitchen. And Revit is going to find the shortest path from my first point to my last point. If I select the path, I can change the line style. Let's say I want this to be hidden line. And all the properties is going to be here displayed in the properties panel. I'm going to see the level, the time, and the length. Now, this helps a lot with egress calculations. Let's go back to the presentation. And as mentioned, we can create a schedule of all the path we create in our project through new schedule, and you can select path of travel. Okay, add the parameters that you need and length, and click OK. Now, of course, because I only drew one path of travel, it's going to tell me that I have only one, and it's going to give me the length of it. Now, an improved filtering is added to Revit 2020. Previously, we were limited to the number of different parameters that you had access to. If you had multiple categories in a filter, you would only have access to the parameters which were shared between the two categories. Now you can specify a parameter for each category. This makes it much easier to create the filter that you want. So basically, as you can see here, we can select the category and then select the parameters. Let's say one of the parameters is not available indoors, but it's available in walls, we would be able to select it now. Previously, we would only have the shared parameters between different categories available here. Another improvement is for the material user interface. We have easier access to the libraries, we have new filters and thumbnails, and high quality optimized realistic materials. As you can notice here, it was at basically Autodesk added a filter by class to the material, and it enhanced the quality of the materials and made the thumbnails bigger. For the image and PDF improvements, we already mentioned that we can now import PDFs to Revit. Now, an additional improvement is we have better image info reporting. The BIM 360 path, you can now link images that reside in BIM 360 docs directly to your models and modify the scale parameter through the properties panel. A new addition is the elevation parameter. This capability is really important for MEP engineers. It's the ability to tag, filter, and schedule the elevation of elements through elevation from level parameter. So basically, you can filter through elevation from level parameter that is displayed here. Now, this parameter has been recently renamed. It's only available in Revit 2020. You can schedule all different, let's say, as displayed here in this image, electrical panel, power panel, and you can schedule its elevation level. You have an additional ability to schedule scope boxes, the scope box parameter for a view. You can now have a schedule that includes scope boxes. You can now manage all crop regions in one place. So previously we had to either select on the view and drag down to scope box and change the scope box from here. Now the scope box parameter is available to schedule, so you can set all your scope boxes from a schedule. Basically, you would schedule all your views, and let's say you have area A, B, and C in your project. You would rename your views based on the areas, and you can set up all your scope boxes from the schedule. Another functionality is copying and pasting legends. Previously, we weren't able to copy legends from one sheet to another or from one view to another. Now Revit 2020 has the ability to copy and paste legends. You can resize the dialog box also, and you can paste it to multiple sheets, align it to the same place. All the different paste options are available for legends in Revit 2020. Of course, all of us want to import different types or different file types or different models that we model, let's say in Rhino and different softwares into Revit. Now you have the ability to create parts from imports like IFC, SAT, and Rhino in Revit. The powerful thing about it is after you split it, you will be able to modify the geometry in Revit. This was not previously modifiable in Revit in previous versions. You can now cut holes in the geometry and slice it with a reference plane. Basically, this command was developed for bridge designs, but it can be applied to different import file types. Now you will notice that the InfoCenter got reduced. You can now collapse it using this arrow, and you can make it smaller. Dynamo is now part of Revit 2020, so every time you update your Revit, Dynamo will automatically update with it. This does not impact other Dynamo installations that you have on your laptop or computer. There are new Dynamo nodes for modeling steel connections that are added in Revit 2020, and there are out-of-the-box scripts ready to be run in Dynamo Player. Now there is an enhanced performance for detailed steel models. Revit 2020 has an enhanced performance for steel models where processes are run in the background and you have a faster response time when moving and modifying elements. This allows you to perform several actions at the same time. You don't have to wait for Revit to think while you are moving steel connections. This is mainly it for my presentation. I will be showing some videos about all the new commands that we introduced, and all those videos are available on Autodesk.com products. Let's start with tag, schedule, view, and elevation.
With this new feature, you're now able to tag, schedule, and utilize view filters for the elevation from level parameter associated with a variety of elements and categories commonly used for MEP, such as mechanical, plumbing, lighting, electrical, data, furniture, and more. With this enhancement, elevation from level is available as a built-in parameter for tagging, scheduling, and view filters. The goal is to remove barriers in easily defining content, tags, and schedules, ultimately enabling you to easily create, annotate, and document this information. With this update, we renamed elevation parameters to elevation from level and offset value to offset from host, and moved the schedule level parameter to be adjacent to the elevation from level parameter. Create documentation efficiently with consistent data across Revit elements.
Now we're gonna view a video about the Rebar, the new copy and move tool.
Shape-driven rebars now snap more intuitively to the concrete cover when you copy or move them. By not snapping automatically, very small segment length adjustments are eliminated, and the rebar geometry remains consistent. Because of this, no new rebar positions or rebar numbers are created. Previously, a rebar would snap to the cover if it was within a half of the bar diameter from the cover. The rebars still snap automatically for operations like dragging individual bar segment handles, sketching a rebar, or placing a new rebar. Shape-driven rebar segments are now automatically constrained only to the concrete host faces data and range of each segment. This change in behavior ensures that bars will no longer incorrectly connect to faces that are far away and react to the changes of those faces. You can still manually select any face as a constraint target parallel to the bar segment, even if that face is not within range. Standard bars now snap to stirrups automatically, only if the standard bars pass through the stirrups. When a standard and stirrup set are distributed in the same direction, they have parallel bending planes, none of the standard bar segments will automatically snap to the stirrup segments. When you manually select a constraint target, that constraint is set as preferred. If the constraint bar segment is parallel to that face, it will keep that constraint when moving the bar in the same host, even if that face is outside of the range of the bar. When copying the rebar from one host to a similar one, it will automatically match the selected preferred constraints from the target to the destination host. Structural hosts are similar if their corresponding faces are parallel and orientated the same way. Having all these enhancements gives you more predictable behavior when copying and moving shape-driven rebars for higher accuracy and design intent fidelity.
Also, we'll view a short video for electrical panels. Sorry, the video is for propagation of steel connections.
You can automate connection creation in your Revit project by propagating connections already in place. Just pick one connection already inserted in the 3D model and access the Propagate option through the contextual menu. The steel connection will then be automatically inserted in other locations where the framing conditions are similar. Once you have inserted the same connection in multiple locations, you can easily modify all instances of the same type by choosing a different configuration previously saved.
And this is the electrical. And the rebar annotation enhancement is the final video that we'll be viewing before we go into question and answers.
Multi-rebar annotations can now be used to dimension freeform rebar sets with planar and parallel bars in any view that is perpendicular to all the bar planes of the bars in the set. Multi-rebar annotations can also be used for dimensioning rebar sets in structural elements inclined with respect to the view. For example, ramp displayed in plan view. The rebar sets can be either freeform or shape-driven and must be made up of single-segment parallel bars with or without hooks. Thanks to this functionality, you can now produce accurate documentation for the production and site installation of freeform rebar.
So I'm going to start going through some of the questions that you have on the control panel. So Helena is asking, when you set the PDF to 100%, it was still not the same size and the Revit plan. So this is because while importing the PDF, you noticed, I'm going to go ahead and do it again. If I'm importing the PDF, as I click on it and click open, it's going to ask me the resolution. And if you notice here, the page size, basically the PDF was exported in a smaller size. This is why when we re-import it to Revit, it's not the same scale. Now, if the PDF was exported in the right scale and it was re-imported to Revit, it's going to be the same scale as the Revit or as the background. Donald is asking, does the PDF need to be vector-based in order to facilitate snapping? Would snapping work if the PDF is simply Raster based? No, because it has to be, yes, it has to be vector based, exported from CAD or Revit in order for it to snap, because a raster image would not have the snapping functionalities. So Victor asked, how does 360 handle central files? I'm not sure what you're referencing, Victor. Can you please ask the question again? Caesar is asking, can you tag an elevation of an electrical or data receptacle? The answer is yes. This is the new functionality that we talked about, and you can schedule the elevation of those electrical receptacle data receptacles. Brian asked, is path of travel length a parameter that is able to be scheduled? Yes, and we have demonstrated this. I will do it again. If I go to Revit, I've drawn this path of travel. I'm going to draw another one just for the purpose of this demonstration. If I go to Analyze tab, path of travel here, and I go to View tab, Schedule. Schedule quantities, go to path of travel. Okay. You add the parameters that you need. And click OK. And you have your schedule. Now you can notice that I added the view name to it. The path of travel is a view-specific element. It does not appear in any other view other than the one that you drew it on. Now Andrew is asking if we set the view to wireframe. I'm going to demonstrate it right now. Back to 1. Create the level again. Set this to wireframe and insert the PDF. And since we have the view set to wireframe, the visual style set to wireframe, without changing the draw layer of the PDF, you would be able to see it. Now, if I change this to shaded, I won't be able to see it. If I set it to hidden lines, I won't be able to see it unless I select the PDF and bring it to foreground. Now, how to make sure our PDF is in the right scale, we need to have a reference, like a door, that we know exactly its dimensions, and scale our PDF and make sure this door is in the right, or has the right dimensions. Now, I think those are all the questions that came in. You can always contact us with additional questions. I'm going to keep our contact information here displayed. Please just email us or give us a call. Let us know that if you have any questions about this webinar or anything else. I will give a minute for additional questions before I end this webinar. So John is asking if we can dimension from PDF. Yes, what we can do is, since we have the PDF here and we enabled snapping, we can click on this and take a dimension, and it's going to show me the exact dimension. And this was the last question available. I'm going to end this webinar, and please go ahead and send us your questions to team@microdesk.com. Thank you very much for attending, and have a good day.